Welcome to the Dynasty stock market with Biggs and DFK right here on Profiler_NFL. Player Profiler
going on
now plus. Brought to you as always by Fast Draft. If you like drafting and you want to draft faster with Fast Draft. Use code BOOTH for a $50 deposit match. That'll get you $50 more on top of your $50. And that's twice as many games as you can play for $10. That's 4 times as many games as you can play for $5 or something. I don't know. Math is hard. All right. We are right in the thick of the kickoff to the fantasy season. There is the Scott Fish Bowl 15. And there is a saying out there that fantasy starts with the Fish Bowl. And this last Saturday, we had Vegas kickoff and NorCal kickoff. It was an incredible event in Northern California. We met down at the Shady Lady Saloon in Sacramento. I had 3 divisions, 36 guests. We raised about $3,600 for charity, including the local charity Waking the Village that I had pegged for our beneficiary, and more for Fantasy Cares. And that's not counting all of the merch that everybody's been buying, the glasses, the raffle tickets, all that stuff. That was just like what was raised in auctions and stuff like that. We auctioned off a Frank Gore autographed Niners helmet. We auctioned off an Elijah Mitchell Niners jersey. So a hand autographed bottle of Raleigh Fingers wine. I donated my Jamar Chase autographed jersey. We auctioned that off. A bottle of Eagle Rare 10, a bottle of Patron El Cielo that went for $130, which was fantastic. It was a great event. And so I encourage all of you to apply for the Scott Fish Bowl if you haven't already. I want to say there is going to be one more wave of slow draft invites coming out. And also the live events, sometimes people fall out and they need somebody to go in and cover. That's how I got into my first live draft 3 years ago. I kept checking every day until boom, there was a space open and I got to fill in. And now I'm on this new journey. So we're going to mock today because hopefully if you have tuned in, you are in the Scott Fish Bowl or are a hopeful and you want to see kind of how this plays out. It's a very interesting scoring system this year. We have it's a super flex with 9 flex spots.
Yeah, and so there's going to be people playing on Sleeper, people playing on MFL with the slight differences in the scoring there. For the folks on MFL, you get 1 point per target as a receiver, whether you're whatever position receiving the ball, and then you get 1 point per reception. But then if it's Sleeper, you get 2.5 points per reception, just as a kind of a catch-all there, since they don't have as many custom settings as MFL. But in general, one of the things you got to note, 0.5 point per carry. You've got tight ends that are getting a full bonus point per reception. And you saw the thumbnail. Okay, Travis Hunter, he's going to be a big factor because they've got IDP scoring, but there's only one player that you can draft on defense that I think is allowed, and it's Travis Hunter. So it's basically a Travis Hunter rule where he's getting some bonuses.
But unlike what you would think, Travis Hunter going at the 101 because he's got that Konami code scoring, that's not what's happening. In my draft, I wanted Travis Hunter right after the turn at the 203, and Bo McBigtime, shout out Hella NorCal, Bo McBigtime snagged him at the 201. In other drafts, he was going in the 4th round. In other drafts, he was I was about to link the show. In other drafts, he went in the later in the 2nd round. So you'd think that Travis Hunter, you're getting 6 points for a sack. You're getting 6 points for an interception. You also get his touchdown points. So if he has a pick 6, that's like 13 points right off the bat. every tackle. So say he plays 40% of the defensive snaps and has, 4 tackles a game. That's 8 points on top of whatever he's getting in catches, yards, on MFL targets, etc. So, Jamie, what round is Biggs taking Land Larison? Excuse me, sir. I'm in a current draft. We are in a slow draft period, and I'm not going to give up any of my game. Okay, so chill.
And for the folks, audio only, I'm showing the FFB 15 scoring. So go over and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And we're about to get this draft kicked off here, man. I'm really excited to see who you end up taking. Oh, wait, you're not in the draft. And we're just
no, but
I'm excited for the picks. And hey, we'll jump right into it after this.
If you play in Dynasty, you need Dynasty Deluxe, our premium package for Dynasty Leaguers. We rank over 300 players, updated every week, all year long. And there's a win now mode and a rebuild mode with superflex and tight end premium controls. And a Dynasty League sync where you can say, sync down all of my sleeper teams, all my FFPC teams. And then you can browse around your leagues for who has needs. And then you can use our trade finder to see what kinds of trades are happening in leagues that are similar to the one I want to do. Then you can analyze trades using our trade analyzer, which balances the lifetime value, which includes pick values out to like 2028. All of that plus the rookie guide, $25 value is included. So if you're just in one Dynasty League, Dynasty Deluxe is well worth it. And use your host's promo code, and you can bump up to all in and get $25 off.
That's an old commercial. It's $50. And Albert Mataqueen says, hello, everyone. Hello, Albert. I haven't heard your name. I haven't spoken your name. I haven't seen you in a chat in a good, since January, maybe? So welcome back, buddy. And let's get this thing started. Oh, no.
Boom. At the 101, we've got, we're about to find out. Yeah. Oh, we got Brittany in here at the 3 spot. So at 101 goes Jamar Chase, then Devontae Chan at the 102. Kind of surprised by that
yes,
pick
because
there.
Bijan has been the consensus 101. He went 101. It went Bijan and Jamar Chase at the 1 and the 2 in every draft that I had seen so far.
Wow, this is a hot move here with the Chan pick.
Yeah,
they know something we don't know.
That's wild.
Because for me, I'm thinking you want someone who's just getting the ball a lot, obviously. But if you're getting the receptions and you're getting the most carries, it's just crazy. And Bijan's just that type of a dual threat. And I think with the age, it's more likely, like even over Barkley, who they've got their Super Bowl. Why not try to just get to the next Super Bowl instead of overwork Barkley in 2025? The only kind of drawback on that statement is they don't have a lot behind him except for Will Shipley. So I can still see them leaning on Barkley heavily, but I don't know, man. Yeah.
I love Will Shipley. So this Devon Achane pick to me is very interesting, and I'm going to go out on a limb and assume this is merely a Dolphins fan who's having fun, because I would be very surprised if Devon Achane, and again, this is you get points per carry, and I don't think Devon Achane is going to have. I think he's capped out at 210 carries. He might have 60 targets. He might have 70 targets. But we're talking about guys who are going to be getting 300 to 350 touches, and Achane is not one of them, right? So I don't understand that draft position. Now we got Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson going off the board. There is an element in the scoring system where quarterback scoring is very suppressed. The top 5 kind of hover around your top positional getters. So in this area, your Lamar Jacksons, Josh Allens, your Bijan Robinsons, Jahmyr Gibbs, Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Jamar Chase, they're all scoring fairly similar points. There are some projections that have Brock Bowers and Trey McBride outpacing everybody. And I had the 110, and I chose that simply because I love the third round reversal and a late pick there, because I get to see, 9 picks come off the board, have a good assessment of what trends are happening, and I get to target my guys. And I wanted to start with one of Genty, Bowers, or McBride. They all 3 were gone by the time it got to me at 10. And then I was going to go and grab Travis Hunter at the 203. He went at the 201. So my start was supposed to be Bowers and Hunter, and it wound up being Jaden Daniels and Malik Neighbors. So no matter how many of these mocks you do and think that you have, and now here goes Bowers at the 10. And it would have been perfectly lined up for me, but that's not what happened in my own draft. So you think you got to read on it because you did your homework, you practiced, and then boom, you get punched in the mouth.
It's really interesting to see where people are going here, because Brock Bowers, McBride.
Oh my goodness!
Oh, the Brock Bowers McBride combo happens at the 10 spot. So at the 10 and the 203, Bowers McBride, a great combo. Again, 2.5 points for receiving on sleeper, but then you get the additional bonus point for the tight end. So 3.5 points per reception. We're expecting both of these to be leaders in receptions, top 3, at least top 5 minimum, but probably top 3.
I'm dead. They're supposed to score about 650 points each.
Oh, yeah. So
apparently somebody did that in Cincy already. Okay. I gotta talk to my people here at the 111 and the 112. If you see one of Brock Bowers or Trey McBride go with the 110 or earlier, do not allow McBride to come back around. Don't do it, or vice versa. If McBride goes at the 110, don't allow Bowers to come. You guys, you're just asking to have somebody else win. Now, there's one person's going to win this whole shebang in 5,000 participants. You're not going to win, so just have fun. But still, if you want somebody to win, let them get that start, because that's going to be the key to it.
But people are taking it serious, I was in my Scott Fishbowl league for the Austin division. I was watching a draft from, I believe, the fantasy affiliation, and they were. They were kind of guarding their strategy on the live stream. I'm like, I don't know why you would do a live stream and I give your full, not be giving strategy, since that's what we're doing here, trying to help people. But they were taking it very seriously. They're like, yeah, I'm not going to tell you guys what I'm doing until, at least a little bit closer to the draft or after some of the drafts have happened. So, hey, people want to win this thing, and I don't blame them, because that's some prestige if you can be number 1 out of all of this huge pool that we got here.
I mean, there would be a lot of peacocking, a lot of opportunities to peacock.
Yeah.
But I don't know how many people remember any of the past winners, except for maybe the Fantasy Cares guys. It's not like people win and then they just kind of that's
no. Hey, I would still love to win this thing. And just for let's do a little quick recap of the first 2 rounds here. So the 1 spot, we got Jamar Chase, Devon Chan, Bijan Robinson, Saquon Barkley, Josh Allen's the first quarterback, followed by Lamar Jackson, Jahmyr Gibbs, Justin Jefferson, Ashton Genty, Brock Bowers, Christian McCaffrey, and CeeDee Lamb in the first round. And then it's Snake here. So we've got Puka Nacua at the 2-1 as the bookend for that team. Then Derrick Henry, Trey McBride, Jaden Daniels, Amon-Ra St. Brown. We've got Hurts, Malik Neighbors, George Kittle. That's that third tight end. And I want to ask you about him in a little bit. But then A.J. Brown, Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Taylor, Nico Collins. And then we've got the third round reversal here. So the team who had the 12th pick is back on the clock. Curdy, friend of the network. And let's see where he goes here. But right now, so far, okay, so he goes Kyron Williams to get some of that point per carry action, and he definitely gets fed the ball. Of all teams, Rams love to feed the running backs a huge workload. So right now, let's look at those first 2 rounds. Is it still that double tight end team that's the team to beat? Or how about the team with Kittle? They've got that tight end, but also Josh Allen, who could be a rushing leader of all the quarterbacks taking advantage of that point per carry.
Well, I mean, if there's going to be through two rounds, if there's going to be a competition to that 110 spot, it's going to come from Josh Allen and George Kittle. George Kittle led, I want to say he led tight ends in points per game last year. If he can sustain a 17-game season and do that again, obviously, like, he has an opportunity to finish as the tight end 1. And Josh Allen is, he's going to be battling with Jaden Daniels and Lamar Jackson for the QB1 spot. So it could happen. Injuries could happen, all that stuff. And that's kind of the fun. But what's interesting to me is how through the first 2 rounds, except for you had one team that went Barkley and then AJ Brown. So likely an Eagles fan. And then other than that, everybody else that didn't take a quarterback, they were double tapping the position. So you had 2 wide receiver, 2 running back, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 2 tight end, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver.
Yeah, I like how you notice that there's some people leaning into where they think these builds are going, where you've got the Amon-Ra team. They're going with possession receivers. They ended up with Brian Thomas Jr., but we like the upside of BTJ as well. So I can see where people either went leaning in on the tight end or those PPR type receivers, or just get the point per carry running backs if they think that's what's going to win. I know a lot of times running backs do end up just winning the day. You just need a little bit more of that injury luck to be on your side. Yep. So I wouldn't be surprised. Brittany right now, this is my favorite team right now, Brittany's team, because Kenneth Walker could be a top 5 running back. I was just listening to Depro on Fantasy Points, and he was saying, like, people are just sleeping on Walker, and like everything's improved for the Seattle Seahawks, and that's her 3rd pick. Josh Jacobs is in a good spot, and I would say the Packers listened to Josh Jacobs and went out and got a 1st-round wide receiver after never doing that, and he was the one complaining, saying we need a number 1 wide receiver. So he's going to get fed, and obviously you don't have to say anything about that steal of Bijan here at the 3rd pick. So I like the Foxworth squad here. She'll be up next.
I think we came around the bend, and she took the lead. I really love that squad. I love Josh Jacobs, and Kenneth Walker should be a 1st or 2nd round value, and she got him in the 3rd. I love that running back stack. Let's see if she does that again. Let's see if she goes 4 running backs, because there were some real drafts where guys were going 7 running backs deep. I know my boy at Rhinos, he just went running back. I don't think he took his first quarterback until round 12, and there she goes, Omarion Hampton. Now, Brittany, I'm not so sure about this, because you got Najee Harris, and you know that they're going to rely on him for a good 200 to 250 carries. I don't think Omarion Hampton gets the run that people think he's going to.
Well, still, if not, Najee's never been injured. He's the only running back who's never been injured. But if it's wheels up for Hampton,
250 carries plus another 40 or 50 targets and over 1,000 yards for 4 seasons in a row. And the Chargers know exactly what they have in the building, and they're slow rolling Hampton. Harbaugh's talked about it. So, yeah. So I went Najee in my draft, which I am currently. I took Harris in the 8th. So by the 8th round, my running backs were Breece Hall, Quinshon Judkins, Caleb Johnson, and Najee Harris. And then I added Tyjae Spears a little bit later. I have Andrews and Henry at my tight end, and I don't like that. Quarterbacks are Daniels, Geno Smith, and I just took Jackson Dart. Wide receivers are Malik, Garrett Wilson, Calvin Ridley, and Jaden Higgins. I'm not a huge fan of my team. Just let's put it that way. And yeah, Philadelphia points out I'd rather get Hubbard in the 4th than Hampton early 4th. I agree with that. Go with the guy that you know has the lead in the room and is going to get those 250 or 300 carries, and Hubbard is that guy. I am currently on the clock in the 15th round. I am looking at a tier that includes Kyle Williams, who's kind of an unknown, Tyler Algier, Braylon Allen, Devin Neal. So we're looking at backup running backs. And then in the tight end rooms, we got Dalton Schultz, Chigakonkwo, Jatavian Sanders, Ferguson, Kmet.
Okay, and that's the Ricky Ferguson, right? Of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I like the idea of Chig if you think he can take that step and you're worried that Ridley's the only option, because we had the tight end whisper and we were like, hey, man, it's got to be that second target. And I mean, could it be Chig if a lot of those other number 2 targets for the Titans are rookies and maybe Cam Ward is actually very good?
Yeah, no, I agree, and he's been consistent, 77 and 70 targets the last 2 seasons, 54 and 52 catches. So I think his
could be like a more athletic Tyler Conklin. You know, that's kind of in that range that he would get to.
But his usage has to go up by about 30 targets. Is Cam Ward going to provide that for him?
I don't know. I don't have that answer. But if you're talking late, I just struggle with going Braylon Allen and hoping for that Breece injury, because even if Breece is injured, they're still going to have Isaiah Davis to share with.
That's what I'm saying. So at this point, I'm thinking either. I mean, we're at the point where we are all through the starters, and we are starting to look at like potential handcuffs and backups and stuff like that. Okonkwo is the starter. He's the starting tight end on that team. He's not going to get passed by anybody. My only other question in there is Algier, and he had 137 carries last year. That would mean something catastrophically went wrong with Bijan.
Well, so far, Falcons have consistently used Algier to a certain degree. So you know, of all the backup running backs, he won't just get goose eggs. Not that you're looking for that, but we do know that if something happened to Bijan, that he had a starting role at one point and could handle it. Tyjae Spears, I think, was the other alternative option. I just think the Falcons have a higher ceiling as the offense, but still a little unknown.
Algier and Okonkwo. So you're getting a productive handcuff versus a low volume tight end.
Perceived low volume tight end, but I guess it's fine to guess that. I'm just good. I'm good with Pollard on the team. I'm good with Ridley as the wide receiver 1. And if Ward does one of these rookie type of things, and maybe that's just too much. Maybe they are going to be awful and we're asking for too much. I just think Chig's got a safe floor, and he is kind of due for that big leap. And it might still be a little too early for that big leap, because Titans still take even longer in their career. But at this point, he's been in the league 3 years. This could be that year for Chig.
One more counterpoint. Algier also has a very safe floor, and his floor includes the points per carries, and that's higher volume than Chig's target.
Let's go with Algier here.
I'm going to go with Algier here. And my Q had Quentin Johnston, and Bo McBigtime took him. The last round, my Q had Hunter Henry, then Rashad White. I took Hunter Henry, and then Bo took Rashad White. Bo just keeps taking guys that are like right there on my list.
And the other thinking is just that the running backs kind of thin out a little bit, and Algier is just one of those kind of quote unquote for sure backup running backs that you can feel good about. And I bet you some tight ends will still slip to you a little bit here.
Yeah. And Jamie asked, is Mason Taylor there? Not in the 15th round. In the 13th, I had Hunter Henry 1 over Mason Taylor. So I took Hunter Henry. Mason Taylor didn't come back around to me. Rashad White didn't come back around to me. Quentin Johnson didn't come back around to me. All right. Back to the real, this one. We got Kelsey going off the board in the 6th round. a little grouping of quarterbacks, Drake May and Bo Nix, Caleb Williams. I like the Bo Nix, Justin Fields. I like that a lot. Brittany is just absolutely slaying this.
Yeah, because you're getting a kind of a steal with Fields. I would say almost no matter where you take him, because you could take Fields ahead of Bo Nix, and he likely outscores him just based on the scoring format. We know Fields has a high floor for rushing attempts, so that's a guy where I understand with Bo Nix, he has the rushing upside as well, so it's okay. I'm fine with going with that, and I like the offense around him. So both of those quarterbacks have rushing ability. I really like both of those guys. Only thing I wonder is, why does Kyler Murray slide so far when he's been one of the top fantasy points per game scorers his whole career, and with the point per carry, I just think people are sleeping on Kyler a little bit.
A couple of interesting things. We got the 110 is still continuing his bully tight end. He's added Laporta and Jonnu Smith. I love that tight end room. That's an insane tight end room with the ceiling that Laporta brings. Jonnu Smith, Trey McBride, like he could have the four of the 5 top tight ends right here. And then Chev's interesting build of just like going all wide receiver, which when you're trying to pivot and you look at everybody else, there's 11 other teams who are all going to be suppressing wide receiver value and targeting running backs, tight ends, and then a couple quarterbacks. Maybe the play is to just like load up on as many wide receivers as possible.
As we go into this next round, I just want to flash one more time the scoring, because I want to ask about what's the optimal build. Maybe you don't know the optimal build, because who knows who win this thing, but we're talking about how one of these teams has all wide receivers through the first 7 rounds. And, if you take a look, you've got 11 bench, 11 starters. So are you actually able to use all of these wide receivers? And then are you able to, you mainly try to navigate the bye apocalypse, injury apocalypse type situations? I'm just wondering if there's any kind of overdoing it here where you might have some excess and you're missing out on some other actual starting positions.
I don't think so, because of the way that the scoring flattens out positional scarcity. I think if I had to do it all over again, I kind of went into it. See, again, you think you have a plan and then you get punched in the mouth. Through all the mocks, I have been waiting until the 9th, 10th, 11th round to start drafting quarterback, right? But I entered my queue with projected points, the top 15 projected points, right? And because I knew I had 2 picks in the top 15. Well, based on projected points, when it got to me, the 10th projected point getter was Jaden Daniels. And then Malik Neighbors was 15th. So I wound up getting those 2 guys simply because that's how my queue was set up based on projected points. But I think if I did it again, I would focus on tight ends and running backs only until I got to the 9th round, unless there were some great wide receiver, 120 target guys that happen to slip into the 4th, 5th, 6th round or later. Like you have a guy like Demario Douglas, 100+ targets, not a lot of production, but he has those targets. So his value is going to be a little bit higher than in this than it is everywhere else, right?
Yeah.
So those are the guys I want to target in the middle.
Yeah. So should I give another one of those names away?
Yeah.
Wan'Dale Robinson. How about Wan'Dale Robinson?
He was first in my brain, but
yeah,
I went with Demario Douglas.
I almost asked you to guess, because I just feel like he's that guy that's late. But look at the numbers; he's getting targets, and okay, Darius Slayton was there last year too. Yes, he re-signed another contract. Nothing's changed except 3 improved quarterbacks. Come on. So that's a steal to me in almost all drafts, Wan'Dale Robinson. I'm hoping Khalil Shakir can be that PPR guy this year. versus them spreading the ball around. He still feels like the 1A. It's just I want more volume. We'll see.
And
what
I'm
happens.
really hoping Chev takes a wide receiver here. Oh no, my heart is broke. But Jordan Mason, that's a good handcuff. I have so many Aaron
a
Jones
good
shares this
RB1.
year.
Yeah, if he's the RB1, that could be a steal.
All right, we
Obviously
got
not right out of the gate, but Aaron Jones career high in carries or just touches last season. So, obviously getting older.
I'm stocking up on him this year. So
all right.
The way that Aaron Jones does me is I have tons of shares. He gets hurt. I get disgruntled, move off of him. He has a huge year. So then I buy back in, and then he's going to be garbage.
So Tyron Tracy just goes after Jordan Mason. You have to be really high on Jordan Mason, right? Because there's still starting running backs available.
Yeah, but I'd still rather have Mason than Tyrone Tracy. I think Tyrone Tracy loses his job by week 1.
Oh, come on. Man, I'm just biased because Tracy was my deep sleeper of the year. I called it like in April of last year, and it was obvious. But now he's already relegated after the second season.
The Podfather and I are diametrically opposed on Cam Scattaboo. I love Cam Scattaboo, and I think I think his receiving upside takes over that RB room and his draft capital. I don't think Tyrone Tracy is the RB1 coming out of out of the preseason.
Jacoby Myers, I'd rather have. I don't know.
That's the value mid-round wide receiver I was talking about. Jacoby Myers is going to have 120 plus or 105 plus targets.
He goes at the 8-11 for those listening.
8th round.
Yeah, that's a steal. I guess he's just always going to be disrespected. It'll never change.
Brittany also disagrees with me. I may be on an island. That's fine. Cam Scattaboo Island. And then Killa's lineup right here, starting with Gibbs. He's got Hurts and Mahomes. I hate the Mahomes pick. Chase Brown, Isaiah Pacheco, DeAndre Swift, Brian Robinson, Travis Etienne. So Gibbs, I get. Swift, okay. Brian Robinson, I like. Etienne, I feel like with this stack, it's a little bit. I like the direction, but I think the picks were misses. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like we like the running backs, and actually I've been on Pacheco, but still, either way, a lot of things could go wrong with these where they're sharing more of the work than we would like.
Right, like
the carries are not going to be high enough, but we like that they're running backs. Like
I like the build. I just don't like. I would have taken different players.
Give me Judkins over Pacheco. I mean, maybe you would go a different direction, but then on the way back around Swift, maybe you just go one of these tight ends who are going to get a bunch of volume over Swift at that point, and then I might take Caleb Johnson over Brian Robinson with that next pick that he had there, and then Etienne. I think for me, I probably would have leaned. Well, I would have gone Myers, but yeah, give me one of these other running backs like over Etienne, just because it's a little bit murky. If the coach speak is correct, then Killers is fine on Etienne. So we'll see about that. But there's other players, other positions I would have actually rather have. But I get people leaning into a strategy, so I'm not going to critique the strategy of the running backs. When, like, if you want to say a different running back, there's still other running backs I would have rather had at those spots.
Right. And then I don't know about taking the third quarterback that early. That's Mitchell Mayberry. What am I watching right now? Well,
here you go. Scott Fishbowl 15. So we've got drafts that are already starting, but we got live ones going next week and drafts all over the place. There's 5,000 people playing over that who are trying to. There's only one winner, so after you win your league of 12 people, you kind of get whittled down to the next group, I believe, and it's kind of tournament style for whoever has just the top scorer. There's only one winner of all of these kind of separate leagues, but it's just a charity draft, a way to give back to the community put on by Scott Fish. So They've got unique scoring that are a little bit different than our custom or regular fantasy lineup. So here we've got half a point per carry. We've got 2.5 points per reception and an extra point per reception for the tight end. So tight end would get 3.5 points for every catch. It's a little bit different scoring on MFL, 1 point per target. That's kind of a nice wrinkle there. And then we got Travis Hunter scoring, where anything he does on defense counts as some amount of points for your team. So if you draft Travis Hunter, he's going to be putting up some crazy numbers. Hopefully, if he has, I'm predicting he has one of those games, maybe every month, but not every month is he just going to, or every game is he just going to go off like that. But here's the scoring on the screen. And everyone here is doing a little mock draft, getting ready for their league. I actually have the second spot in my draft, and Biggs is in this draft now. What spot are you at?
I'm in the 110.
110. What do you prefer, the front end or the back end? Chev has really got me to just appreciate the later part of the draft. It's just the first round picks that are there are great, but the early second round picks are almost like first round picks.
Right. I prefer with the third round reversal. I prefer the 10, 11, 12 side. The last two drafts in Scott Fishbowl I did out of the 6 and the 7. And middle picks are great. I just I keep I've been doing a whole lot of best ball lately, and I keep getting stuck with the 102 in best ball, and the wait from the pick 102 until your next pick is just like you just watch elite players fly. And I feel like at the back half in the first 25 picks, you have an opportunity to snatch 3 elite players. And so I prefer that. But at the 102, I was talking to somebody at the 10 who has the 102 Greinberg. And I said, what pick do you have? He said the 102. I said, take Travis Hunter.
So you give me the same advice then?
No. It's more tongue in cheek than anything else. But I mean,
there or Barkley, it's tough for me.
What happens if he gets 100 targets and he gets 40 to 60% of defensive snaps? Like, it's not out of the realm of possibility. If he has if he gets to, I want to say it was 80 targets, he's in the 20s of wide receiver ranks in PPR. That's 80 targets.
Yeah. Where did he go in this draft? Let's see. So we've got blue is the wide receivers. Who took Travis Hunter? Okay, so Hunter goes in the 4th round at the 4.9 to any fan.
There he is.
So
yeah. So I mean, in 2 of the Sacramento drafts, he went in the 2nd round. Everywhere else, he's going in the 4th. I think that's more of it tells you more about the way that the sleeper draft queue is set up than anything else. Because every mock that I was in, we'd get 3 or 4 picks in, and I'd be like, "Oh yeah, Travis Hunter," because his name hadn't come up yet, right? And then I'd forget about him. So that's why I was like, "Okay, I'm taking him in the 2nd."
Yeah, and it could be one of those things where if you don't have Travis Hunter, then you might not make it to the next round. If things go crazy, and this is the biggest X factor we've had in fantasy, probably since like a LaDainian Tomlinson type player. Like you tell me, what's the type player where you weren't winning if you didn't have Rice or one of these type of guys?
I mean,
Travis Hunter could be it.
As recently as last year, Jahmyr Gibbs.
I don't know if he was a complete unicorn, but sure, that was nice.
Yeah, LaDainian Tomlinson's a good one. Christian McCaffrey a couple years ago.
Yeah, that was unbeatable pretty much.
Todd Gurley.
Like other than like I'm not counting Alvin Kamara Christmas game, the 6 touchdown game. That's different.
Right.
That's just one game, but you did need to have him that game.
I forgot what year it was. I think it was McCaffrey's 2nd year. Could have been his rookie year, but I think it was his 2nd year. I was in an auction league, and my first 3 wins in the auctions were Todd Gurley, Christian McCaffrey, and Alvin Kamara. And I absolutely Death Starred that league. It was like
Gurley was a good one, yeah.
But the three of them combined were just like it didn't matter who the rest of my team was. I was just wiping everybody out. It was crazy. And I didn't see that coming. It was just like kind of the way that it worked out. And Philadelphia on the Travis Hunter thing, I'd want him in the third, and I'm not spending a second on Hunter with the scoring. And with all of these picks, it's okay at your own risk. Like,
yeah, so he's unlikely to get a safety, a sack, right? How likely is he really to get a sack? It's just not unlikely. And then safety's unlikely. Interception is definitely possible. He's getting an interception this year. That feels like a lot. Okay,
I have him
at least 4 interceptions. So we've got 4 interceptions. So that maybe get you some points there. 24 points off of that block. That's not happening. That would be freakish. Forced fumble. I'm giving him 1 this season. But what I really, and I'm trying not to skip ahead, but okay, fumble recovery from opponent, that could totally happen, but it's not going to be frequent. Got to be right place, right time. But tackle, he's going to get probably at least a tackle a game. More than that. What do you got him at for tackles?
I am at 4.5 tackles per game.
Yeah, and then my favorite one is this next one, the assisted tackles,
and 6 total tackles. Okay,
6 total. Okay.
So that's 9 points from tackles and another 2.5 points from assists. So that's 11 points a game, tackles alone, with 2 passes defended. So right now, without any adding for interceptions, for touchdowns, for receptions, or anything like that, I've got Travis Hunter in the 12 points per game range as a defensive player.
Yeah,
just as a defender.
Pretty high floor. So like it's like how we think of the rushing quarterbacks having a high floor of those extra touchdown points on the ground. So it could get really crazy. I also think he might get at least 1 carry, not every game, but with the point per carry, they're going to try to use this guy any way that they possibly can. And we like the OC, who's now the coach, or the coach who was a former OC for the Bucks. So we're good with just the potential for them to get creative with them on offense. And there should be not a ton of tight coverage if you're really respecting Brian Thomas Jr. out there.
Right. Ryan, I love the idea that Liam Cohen is going to have Travis Hunter to work with. Ryan Volt says, I'd consider Hunter at the 301, but I'll probably chicken out. But then I remember it's a charity league. Got to roll the dice. Exactly. So this is the kind of brain that I'm working with. In my home league, which is the biggest buy-in league that I'm in, I took George Pickens at the 101 for the meme. Right? This is exactly the same kind of thing, only it's not you're not paying the same buy-in. This is charity. Like you're giving back to the community. Take the chances. The philosophy, the motto of the Scott Fish Bowl, not official, but the unofficial motto of the Scott Fish Bowl is you're not going to win, so just have fun. And how fun would it be to take Travis Hunter at the 102 or the 201? Like last year, people were like buying the 101 to make a crazy pick, saying like, give me the 101, I'll make a donation to Fantasy Cares. The 101 would give up their slot. Then the person would come in and make a crazy pick. That's the kind of thing we're doing here. So take Travis Hunter as early as you want, because then you can hit Twitter. I took Travis Hunter at the 103. Like that's what we're doing here.
So we've still got a little bit of time left. We could just maybe highlight some teams that stuck out. Now that we have a complete, all right. So obviously you would draft more players in the real one. So this is just starting lineups for the most part. Maybe not everyone got their full starting lineup. I'm trying to double check on that, but
if you didn't get your starting lineup, there's 11 starters. If you're drafting a backup in the first 11 rounds, you're basically like putting points on your bench.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
So Yeah, so let's. So we were talking about those bookend picks. Curdy goes CeeDee Lamb, Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams, Devontae Adams. That's 3 Rams in a row. Then Joe Mixon, Mark Andrews, and Njoku, JJ McCarthy, and then you got Javonte Williams, Daniel Jones, and Zach Charbonnet. Is this strong enough to win the whole thing? I like the receivers, even though there's only 3 of them. Definitely all PPR guys, except it doesn't have that full-on nuclear upside since 2 of them are on the same team. But yeah, what do you think about the squad?
I mean, shout out to the Undroppables' own Curdy the Shocker. But yeah, I'm not. I love Devontae, and especially in the 4th round. That's just crazy to me. But Javonte and Charbonnet, Daniel Jones, all in starting positions. I'm not really a huge fan of that. What's wild to me is that there are, I want to say, four of these teams that didn't draft a tight end in the first 11 rounds.
Yeah.
So pick number 1, going along just fine. Love the Judkins pick. Not so sure about Jaylen Warren. And then Bishal Tootin at the 11. Again, like you're taking points out of your lineup by drafting backups in the top 11 rounds, or like drafting backup players, or drafting backup positions. Like quarterback, if you draft a 3rd quarterback in the first 11 rounds, you're basically putting those quarterback points on your bench. It's not as...
wait, Tootin's going to be the starter by week 1, though, so don't worry. It's going to be fine.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Curdy says definitely needed this mock drafting live Sunday in Chicago.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Curdy. Let's go. Good luck, man.
Yeah, I gave Curdy the push to get in that Chicago live draft, and so he's got to represent the Undroppables well.
Yeah, I'm doing a remote this time. Last year went and flew out to Denver, won the football guys raffle out there, and actually ended up meeting Jagger and all the other football guys as well at the time. But Jagger ended up now doing some cool fast draft content.
Yeah,
and so it met a lot of cool people out there. Yeah, get out and do those lives if y'all can. I remember when Andrew Cooper was on, he was talking about how they do a whole party around it too. So
Boston,
yeah. So
yeah, that's what the Scott Fish Bowl is all about. It's all about building the community in fantasy. And so my first live draft I did in San Francisco, which was coordinated at that time by Howard Bender from Fantasy Alarm. My relationship that I developed with Howard Bender at that point led to a relationship that I have with Andrew Cooper, and having Coop on all the shows that I do across all the platforms and stuff. Just a really, really good time. The live drafts are where it's at. I'm kind of surprised you're not in Dallas this year, because that's a big one. There's a lot of good players in there. Casey's in that one.
Yeah.
And Debro, and there's a lot of good folks in Dallas. You should, if you can, just go attend and hang out. My plan was to coordinate Sacramento and then draft in Nashville, but I couldn't I couldn't make the travel plans happen. And so I wound up just doing everything in Sacramento. Next year, I'm going to organize Sacramento, but I'm going to be drafting in Vegas.
Cool. Oh, yeah. There we go. Raiders draft party. I like it.
Well, I have started talking to Jeff Driscoll, the coordinator in Vegas, and he's gonna let me handpick a division, get everybody down to Vegas, draft in the pool at Circa, steak dinners, poker tournaments. Like, it's gonna be a wild weekend.
Yeah, and Ryan says he's going to Minnesota. Or he went last year to Minnesota. That was awesome. And then Alex says going to Philly live. Yeah, Vegas pool draft. That would be awesome.
Ryan, I hope you got to meet my what happened? I know a few of the people that drafted in in the Minnesota draft, and they're all really good. My buddy Dick Sickles, Richard Sickles, he's always up there. Colin is in Seattle Live. Sweet.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely go check those out. Yeah, I might look into the Dallas one next time. I know like some of the roster watch guys are out in the Austin area. I don't know how they divide up these drafts and stuff like that. But I was trying to see what they might do in some of these Austin ones, but definitely need to just like do some research on it next time around.
We got a question from Philadelphia. I forgot though, do we need to buy tickets to get into the live event? As far as I know, that's the requirement, Alex. So you might want to like check right now, because what happened with the Sacramento drafts was I had 4 divisions set up. I had 14 players that had signed up and asked for the NorCal Live that did not get their tickets and sign up before the deadline. And so that division, a full division, was contracted, and we went down to 3 instead of 4. So I would check right now and make sure that you can do that, because there might be a chance that the deadline is passed depending on when that draft is.
Yeah, it's a lot of organization that's going on. So definitely shout out to those guys. And for me, I still had that young baby. So I was like, let me chill on the traveling. I did a lot of traveling for all these different fantasy football events last year. So I was like, let me make sure this baby's good. But next year.
Chicago was $100 ticket, but that comes with an open bar and free food.
Yeah, that's a steal. Yep. Yeah, yep. Go meet Scott. Yeah, plan to meet Scott. I'm so excited. I want to meet everyone in our community. Absolutely. Yeah, I met Scott. He was great.
And Alec, if you want to meet some folks, if you want to play drunken wiffle ball at 2 a.m. with Scott Fish and Chris Froton from NBC Sports, who's leading the Tadpole Bowl this year, which is the Scott Fish Bowl College Edition, go to the expo August 8th, 9th, 10th in Canton, Ohio. I know you're in Florida, but I mean, I got partners in North Carolina that are coming up. Like, I'm coming up from California. If I can come from California to Canton, Ohio, you can come from Florida. So go to the expo. You can meet me, but also more importantly, you can meet guys like Scott Fish and the aforementioned Andrew Cooper and Chris Froton and Debro and all of the heavy hitters in the fantasy space. Matt Kelly is going to be there. I think Bradley Stalter is going to be there for the first time in a couple years. Jamie, I don't need your crap right now. Okay. I met Jamie at the expo last year. He very well knows what the expo is. And Ryan says, I can never go to the expo because it's always the weekend around my daughter's birthday. Hey, take your daughter. She'd love the Football Hall of Fame.
Always got a solution, Biggs.
Yeah. Take your kids. It's the weather is awesome in Canton in August, and much nicer than it will be here. Canton's a nice place. The Pro Football Hall of Fame is pretty cool. I did that last year, so I'm not going to do that this year because exhibits don't change much, but I'm going to take a day and go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland.
There you go.
So
yeah, I flew out of Cleveland and I was like, oh, dang, I wish I had more time to go.
Yes, and Killis, exactly. I took my son to NorCal. Got to hang out. That was cool. I'm glad he had fun. No one wants a 4-year-old whirling dervish running around. Of course they do. Also, shout out Tom Robbins, whirling dervish.
No, Ryan, when I went last year, I did actually bring my son, who at the time was 5, and the baby was only a few weeks old, and it was actually just a lot for the 2 kids, but for the one kid, he was having a great time. Like, you get to run around the full like football field, and then they've got like they've got some other stuff going on there, so everyone had a great time. So it's definitely friendly for the fam.
Let them loose on the Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame Village has a water park. That was the thing when we were hanging around, like where the Hall of Fame is. There's a lot of family activities, including the water park and all that stuff. Yeah, she would probably love it.
Yeah, I whiffed on the water park thing. I didn't find out till we were leaving that there was that water park. I was like, that would have been awesome. But we had a pool at the hotel.
Also, Ryan, on an aside, Whirling Dervish comes from a Tom Robbins novel. Tom Robbins settled in Seattle, just passed away in February. Rest in peace. He was 93, so he was ready. But also there was a group in Seattle called the Whirling Dervishes, and they were an acrobat troupe. And I saw them at Bumbershoot one year. Whirling Dervish, Bumbershoot, that's a lot of words to be thrown around. They were on lines on the side of the Space Needle doing like acrobatic dances, like suspended from the Space Needle, like pushing off of like the tower. It was crazy. That was the Whirling Dervishes.
Hey, appreciate all the comments, guys.
Yeah.
Hopefully y'all do make your way out there. And hey, obviously good luck in these drafts. Hey, I'd say if y'all do some drafts in the near term, come back. Let us know who y'all get in the comments. We probably aren't going to do a full-on SFB video again, but we'll be talking about it here and there for sure. So
not here, but Player Profiler Now Friday with Chev. I'm going to be and our new producer, Delco Dave. We're going to be doing another Scott Fishbowl mock draft on Friday.
Oh, yeah, y'all did one last Friday. Nice.
Yep. And Bumbershoot is the British term for an umbrella. It rains a lot in Seattle. So Bumbershoot is a music festival, Labor Day weekend in Seattle. It goes Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday every year. And it's like hundreds and hundreds of musical acts and comedians and all that stuff. And it's a pretty good time. All right. So that's going to do it. We will see you next week. We are going to come back with some Dynasty fire takes next week. And so you're not going to want to miss that. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure that just like Jamie Pirog, you like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that stuff. Go play Fast Draft. Get your account ready. Use code BOOTH, BOOTH. Go get your Player Profiler subscriptions. And again, use code BOOTH for that as the promo code. Get a discount, all that stuff. And we hope you win.
All right. See you guys.
From the Podfather to you, I deeply appreciate you tuning in. And many ask, what can I do? What can I do to help support the hosts, the research they do, the production costs? Go to playerprofiler.com, Dynasty Deluxe, World Famous Draft Kit, Rankings, DFS Dominator, and of course, data analysis. Subscribe to any one of those, and you support all of us and take Player Profiler to the moon.